What is going on, Raiders? Soda Dragon here. Welcome, and I hope you guys are doing well. So what have I got for you guys today? Well, I'm giving you the ultimate guide for the Bivald Fusion. So a few days ago, I did a video on him, and this is before anyone had test server access. So basically, we had a description of his kit, and I gave Bivald a B-. Now, a lot of content creators have come out with hands-on videos using Bivald in the test server. So what is my opinion of him now, having seen a lot of those videos? Instead of a B-, I'd probably give him a C+. I'm not really sure, and I don't get why people are pumping him up so much, honestly, because I think Vizix is far superior to him. Actually, I think Rathmatop is better than Bivald too, so I'll probably be doing a video comparing them. Yeah, I think this guy is better than him, and absolutely, Vizix is better than him. So I'll be going for him? Yeah, I will, but not because I think he's a great champ. He's super mediocre. I'll be going for him because I think Plarium will be forced to buff him someday. I'm expecting a Pixneal-like situation where it's so obvious when people pull him how mediocre he is that yes, he will get a buff, and hopefully it'll be a nice overpowered buff. That being said, let's talk about the most efficient ways to complete this fusion. So first up, guys, let's look at these fragment totals. Now, not including tournament leaderboards, you can get a total of 115 fragments. Now, since you only need 100 fragments to summon him, you have 15 fragments of wiggle room. So as long as you keep track of how many fragments you're getting, you can skip some events. And even if you miss out on 5 or 10 fragments, you know what? You can always buy those later. Yes, you will get offers to buy those missing fragments. Now, I actually don't think buying those missing fragments is a bad deal. So that is something to consider. Think about how much it costs to get energy refills, to get gems, to get shards. It costs a lot. So the fact that you can get those 5 fragments or 10 fragments that you're missing for maybe $10 to $20 is actually not that bad when you compare how much it costs to get the resources to complete a lot of these events. But of course, if you're free to play, then you would never buy it. I get it. So guys, let's start off with some overall preparation issues. Now, I know for some of you guys, you might be saying, well, it's too late now. The fusion already started. Why would we talk about preparation? Because I talk about this every time so you can prepare for the next fusion. So really, this is what this part of the talk is about. So everything related to the tavern, save it. That's how you prepare for a fusion. Now, the only exception is books. You don't get any points in any events for a fusion for booking your champion. So besides that, we're talking about potions, we're talking about beers, XP barrels, chickens, save all that. And make sure you save all your long-lasting upgrades in your inbox. Now, some of them, of course, they'll expire soon. So yeah, you got to use them soon. But some of them, I mean, they'll expire in 99 days or whatever. So make sure you save those. For example, XP boosts are huge, multi-battles are huge, and obviously energy is huge. So guys, I think the most important resource to save for fusions specifically are gems. Why is this? Look at everything you can buy with gems. You need an arena refill, you need an XP boost, you need energy, you need shards. You can even get those white arcane potions with gems. So make sure you save up a ton of gems for your fusions. In fact, I'm gonna use gems right now to change my name. Tell me what you guys think. Bivald sucks. And for your advanced quest, make sure you save this 3-day XP boost as well. So don't pick it up, don't touch it until you need it. So guys, as far as the difference between traditional fusions and fragment fusions, you're gonna need to save your ascension potions, in particular for your traditional fusions. Why is this? Because you level champs up and you ascend them, and then you fuse them together, and then you fuse them together. So you need a lot of ascension potions for your traditional fusions. But for fragment fusions, we won't really be needing those ascension potions. So first up, guys, let's talk about the champion chase tournament happening right now. So here, it's really important to remember, it's not how you get your champs. It really doesn't matter how you get your champs. It's the type of champs that you get. So you get more points based on rarity. So for example, for commons and uncommons, if you pull one of them, you will get 1 point. Whereas pulling a legendary gets you 500 points. So technically, if you have enough champs saved up in these fragments, you don't need to spend any shards at all because you are getting those legendary or epic champions, and that's enough to get you the points that you need. Another way to get a lot of points for champ chase is to re-summon these champions. That is, fuse them again. They're always there. You can fuse them as many times as you want. Plus, if you haven't fused Rosin yet, go ahead and fuse him right now. That would be a good idea to get you that 500 points. And yes, guys, you can use shards for champ chase. Just remember, it's going to depend on luck how many shards you're going to need to pull. You can't determine it beforehand because the rarity of who you pull determines how many points you get, and you don't know that until you pull your shards. It's a 2x right now, so I'm going to pull 1 shard and see how lucky we get. Not that lucky, Juliana. Now guys, one option I really wouldn't recommend. This is more like the nuclear option, would be going here in the Guardian Ring and going to the token trader. Yes, you can get new legendaries this way, and these are 500 points a piece if you happen to pull one of these. But I mean, they're going to cost you 5, 6, 8 legendaries to just pull one of these champs. So it's there, but I'm telling you guys, don't do it. So maybe I shouldn't have shown it to you in the first place. Next up, guys, let's talk about dungeon tournaments like Fire Knight, Ice Golem, Dragon, and Spider. What is the best stage to farm to get points for those tournaments? The most efficient place to farm these dungeons for tournament points is going to be stage 20. And another advantage to stage 20s is that they are not capped as far as enemy max HP skills. So if we're talking stages 21 and above, yes, they are all capped. Enemy max HP skills can only do a maximum of 10% damage to the boss, whereas stage 20 and under, there is no cap. So theoretically, you should be able to get through stage 20s faster. Now, stage 20s do give good gear, but obviously it's not great compared to the higher stages. So let's say you're willing to concede some efficiency for better gear. So what would be the second best choice then instead of stage 20? Well, it would be either 22, 23, or 24. They're all pretty much the same. So yes, if you do want to get better gear and if you have good 21 plus stage teams for your dungeons, go ahead and run 22, 23, or 24. They're pretty much all second place as far as points. So related to this, guys, next up, let's talk about Dungeon Divers events and what is the most efficient place to get your Dungeon Divers points. Well, the most efficient place to farm dungeons for Dungeon Divers points specifically is going to be stage 3. Now, I know some of you guys don't want to farm stage 3s because you're not going to be getting good gear from it. So what are our other options as far as Dungeon Divers points? Well, in second place is going to be stage 16. And closely behind that, very, very closely in third place is going to be stage 20. So what stage would I recommend that you guys farm for Dungeon Divers points? I would say actually farm stage 20s if you can. The difference in Dungeon Divers points between stage 20s and stage 16s is so close, it's not going to make that big of a deal. Plus, you also get more points for your dungeon tournament events from stage 20s anyway, so might as well be efficient in 2 events at the same time. Just farm stage 20s. And as a side note, guys, make sure that you double check that your dungeon tournaments are happening at the same time as your Dungeon Divers events so you can double dip. That's not always the case. It is the case right now, but it's not always the case. Sometimes they delay Dungeon Divers by like a day. So you're hitting your dragon or whatever really hard, but you're not getting the double dipping points from it. You're not getting your Dungeon Divers points from it. So once again, make sure before you hit a dungeon really hard for your dungeon tournament points that Dungeon Divers is happening at the same time. All right, guys, next up, let's talk about champ training. So what is the best way to get champ training points? The absolute best way to get champ training points is to level up high rank champions. Not low rank ones. I mean, you can if you really want to, but they're not going to get you as many points. So leveling up high rank champions is the best way to get your champ training points. So what's our highest rank? 6-star champion. So if you have 6-star champions that need to be leveled up, if you do that during a champ training tournament, you're going to get a ton of points. But here's a real secret, guys. The early levels of a champion are much more EXP efficient than the later levels of a champion. So the levels closer to 0 are much more EXP efficient than the levels closer to 60 or whatever that max level is of the rank that you're leveling them up. So let me give you an example. So here, 1 XP brew gives this guy 9 levels, right? Because we're closest to 0, right? But the further we move from 0, the less level he's going to get. So with 1 beer, we got 9 levels, but let's take a second beer in and notice he doesn't get another 9 levels. He only gets 5 more levels. Now each beer has the same EXP, but he's getting less levels. Why is that? The further up you go, the more experience it takes you to level a champ up. What does this mean for our champion training tournament? These early levels are the cheapest as far as EXP. So you want to keep as many champions as you have close to level 0 or level 0 and then level them up when the champ training tournament has started. So guys, here would be an example of someone to not level up during a champ training tournament. Why is this? Because this guy is leveled up so much already. This guy is becoming more and more EXP inefficient. Let me show you. Put 1 beer into this guy. How much does it get us? Not even 1 level. Remember Jintoro, we put 1 beer into him when he's 0, and that got us 9 levels. And with this guy, 1 beer got us not even 1 level. The higher up you go, the more EXP inefficient it is to level up champions. So your champions that are closer to 60 or whatever, closer to max, don't level them up right now. It's very inefficient. Go for your high rank, low level champions to level them up. Another big mistake, guys, that you can see right here is sacrificing food before leveling up that food. Remember, guys, you get points for leveling up champions, whether or not you're going to use them for chickens or not. Now, normally, of course, we wouldn't want to level up champions we're going to use as chickens, but this is champ training. So yes, we are going to level up champions there. We are going to use as chickens. So how much leveling up? Well, I would say if you can put about 2 beers into each of the chicken champs that you're going to sacrifice, that'd be pretty good to get you a ton of points. So guys, remember, rarity factors into how many points you get in leveling up your champions. So I would say for uncommons and commons, you don't necessarily need to level them up before you sacrifice them, because those levels don't really get you that many points. I mean, they're commons and uncommons. But for rares and above, yeah, make sure you put 2 beers into your sacrifice champions, your chicken champions, or you run them through 12-3 brutal a few times before you sacrifice them. But no, you don't really need to do that for commons and uncommons. Another thing you can do, guys, is you can triple dip. If there is a dungeon tournament plus a dungeon divers event plus a champ training going on, for example, this Saturday there is, you can actually triple dip. How do you do that? You bring in a champion that can solo the dungeon by himself. Therefore, you can bring in that champion with food champions. What does that do? That means you're going to get your dungeon tournament points, you're going to get your dungeon divers points, and you're going to be getting your champ training points because you're leveling up this food at the same time as you're completing those dungeon events. So for your ice golem and for your dragon, yes, you can use direct star to solo that stage 20 and therefore bring along food alongside him. And for spiders, then you can use tyrant for stage 20. So there are a few champs that you can use to solo those levels and level up food at the same time. So as far as artifact enhancement events, one thing you can do beforehand is you can save up gear that is level to level 15 and save that last level for when those artifact enhancement events start. As far as whose gear to level up, I would recommend that you go to your recently used first tab here to see who the champs are that you actually use the most, so you can prioritize leveling up their gear. Next, guys, after you've looked at the gear that your champs already have on them, as far as gear that your champs don't have on them, I'd recommend going to the substats here and checking out gear with speed substats. So as far as leveling up your gear, the most efficient place to level up your gear to, that is get the most points for the tournament while using the least amount of silver, is actually level 4 of your gear. So if you're really strapped for silver, or you just like being super efficient with your silver, level up your gear to level 4 and stop. So second place for silver efficiency for artifact enhancement events would be 12 or 16. So what's the point here? Do not stop leveling up your gear at level 8. Either stop at 4 or go all the way to 12 or 16. But if you stop at 8, that is the most silver inefficient place to stop, meaning you spend the most silver and you get the least points from stopping at level 8. Next up, guys, got Summon Rush. So how are the points determined for Summon Rush? Well, basically, it's determined by the shard quality that you use. That is it. It doesn't matter who you pull, it just matters what shards you pull. So as far as Summon Rush goes, it doesn't matter if I pull 7 Sacred Shards and get 7 Legendaries in a row or 7 Epics in a row. That does not matter for Summon Rush. All that matters is the quality of the shard that you pull. And yes, shard pulling is required. The only shortcut here would be having a lot of mystery shards saved up so you don't have to use your high tier shards. Since our Summon Rush event here won't be coinciding with a 2x event, I think it's best to save as many shards as possible, meaning just use the minimum shards you need to get those Summon Rush points and save your shards for 2x events. All right, guys, lastly, let's talk about the classic arena takedown. Firstly, if you're free to play but you're struggling in arena, then refreshes are your friend. But unfortunately, this is very time consuming as each refresh requires 15 minutes. But if you don't refresh, then you never find those teams that you can beat. So yes, definitely refresh as often as you can. Once again, if you're free to play, you're gonna wait every 15 minutes, but don't let like hours go by and you don't refresh the arena. That could have been multiple refreshes you could have done, which you could have found teams that you could have beaten and gotten points for. And of course, if you're pay to win and struggling with the arena, just pay those gems to refresh. Now, if there are bots in the arena, of course, you're going to refresh to try to find those bot teams to fight. All right, guys, that is it for my ultimate guide to the Bivald Fusion event. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, and share, turn on all notifications, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.